877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. Here's your host, Dr. Michael Lange.
Alrighty. Good morning and welcome to Ask the Doctor. I'm your host as usual, Dr. Michael P. Lange, P for Paul, here each and every Saturday morning live to answer any and all questions you may have regarding your vision, eye care, or a nutritionally related topic. If you're new to the program, who's Dr. Lange? I'm a board certified optometric physician. I'm also a certified nutritional specialist. Founded Lange Eye Care and Associates March 15th of 1993 and the Lange Eye Institute. Founded Fortifeye Vitamins about 20 years ago and been blessed to be fairly successful in the eye care and the nutritional world. And that's not due to lack of work. I got to tell you, my accountant told me this. The first 5 years in practice, I worked 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, only took off Christmas, Easter, and Thanksgiving, 3 days, and actually flew for continuing education during that time so I could get continuing education hours. So really didn't have a vacation for 5 straight years, but did the work at 10 doctors. And I got to tell you, folks, that's what it takes. You know, it takes hard work and, believe it or not, sacrifice. And the time to do it is before you're married and kids. So all of you out there that are complaining and not making enough money, you got to work a little bit harder. And once again, hard work, sacrifice. It doesn't matter what you do. You can be digging ditches as long as you're the hardest worker on that team. You're going to own the company one day. All right, that's enough of that. You can check everything out on the website. Go to fortifeye.com, Fortifeye. Fortifeye.com shows you a lot of the supplements that we've developed at the Fortifeye headquarters. And then my personal website is drmichaellange.com. So just DR, no period after it, drmichaellange.com. And that'll take you to all the other social media. So we're live video streaming all over the world right now. We're coast to coast via the radio network. So it's actually good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what part of the world you're watching us right now. And I say us because Dr. Richard Hall, an icon in the sports nutrition world, he is my co-host this morning, and we've got a big agenda to talk about today. Before we go to Dr. Hall, I want to mention, remember the Fortifeye Macular Defense. This month we've been running a BOGO, buy one, get one free. It is going to be over at the end of this week coming up. So Friday's probably the last day. That's basically 50% off Fortifeye Macular Defense for all of you that have macular degeneration, have a family history of macular degeneration, or you're just athletic. You're just looking for a good multivitamin, eye vitamin. You only have to take one a day if you're looking for your multivitamin, eye vitamin. Folks, that's 90 in a bottle, and you're getting a free bottle. That's a 6-month supply of one of the top multivitamin, eye vitamins we've developed. And it's the 14th revision. Now it is being replaced by Next Gen Macular Defense. That's why we're running this incredible deal, buy one, get one free. And also they do expire this next month according to the label. Folks, they don't expire. These are tablets that are made USPC designed tablets that they're good for many years after the expiration date. So take advantage of that. Go to fortifeye.com, go to Fortifeye Macular Defense, or come to the Lange Eye Institute, the Fortifeye Nutrition Center in Clearwater, or the Lange Nutrition Center in Ocala. Remember, the Lange Eye Institute is in the Villages, Florida, and you can get those while they'll last. You'll see Dr. Hall at the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages. Remember, he is available for free nutritional consultations. That's right. All of you that listen to us on the radio, all of the patients, free nutritional consultations with Dr. Richard Hall. All right. Good morning, Dr. Hall. How are you?
Good morning. Before I go any further, I just have to point out something. You know, you and I have been best friends now for several decades, I would think. And I learned something this morning that I didn't know before. That you said the P in your name is for Paul. Here, all these years, I thought it was for protein. And I learned something today. But anyway, good morning, Dr. Lange, my good friend and partner in crime, so to speak. And a happy autumn weekend to all of our listeners. We're glad you're here. I want this weekend to be very, very positive and energizing for you as our listeners. And if you're not on a body and mind wellness program, today is the day to begin. Okay? And please don't tell me like some patients do, and with all good intentions, holidays. Okay, and then they're going to start their new program come January 2nd and stuff. Quite honestly, folks, you're wasting your time and your health. Let's start today. Okay, let's start today. Dr. Lange and I are asked that all the time. When's the best time I should start my weight loss program or my energy program or my wellness program? Today, right now. Let's go. But I have some very exciting news to share about stabilizing and possibly reversing sarcopenia or muscle wasting. It involved Dr. Lange in my latest research efforts, and it's a new targeted formula for anti-aging and addressing sarcopenia, strength loss, balance, and hopefully not falling, but it addresses that as well. And so we'll get into that in a little bit. We've got a huge, big show today. Callers are lined up, I can see. So back to you, Dr. Lange. Let's get on with the show.
Awesome. Also, I want to say hello, a shout out to some new radio stations up in the Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky region, the metro area of Cincinnati. We got some new radio stations that we're broadcasting on today. So definitely a shout out to all the new ones and all the oldies. 97.3 FM The Sky in Gainesville, Florida. We were one of the first talk shows on that station, geez, over 20 years ago. So shout out to everybody in the Gainesville, Lake City, Ocala area for being a loyal listener for, geez, a long time. Remember, I started Ask the Doctor in April 1993 on a little radio station in Ocala called WMOP, MOP. And that was Country Jim Kirk. Rest his soul. He's up in heaven. Little hell in heaven is what he's doing right now. He was a good guy. He really was. I miss Country Jim Kirk. He gave me an opportunity. And, my success and our success at the Lange Eye Care, Lange Eye Institute, and Fortifeye Vitamins is really directly related to, Country Jim giving me an opportunity to have my own talk show. It was called Sound Off with Dr. Lange back in early 93, and it grew to what we call Ask the Doctor today. All right, the phone numbers, if you want to call in and ask us a question, remember, no matter how simple or complicated it is, maybe you want to figure out what foods to eat to build muscle, how you want to lose weight, you want to know what foods to slow down macular degeneration. You want to know what you can do naturally to help your glaucoma. Now, these never replace the treatment protocol through your doctor. All of this works in concert with your current treatment. The key here is to not have to get on any medications, not have to get any major surgical procedures. And how do we do that? It's a combination of many things, right? It is, eating the right diet. I've developed the Lange survival diet. I want all you guys and gals to Google that, the Lange survival diet. It is exercise, all right? A lot of you say you can't exercise because your knees hurt, your hip hurts, your joints hurt. Well, you can do something that is a little bit less harsh. So you don't have to be running. You don't have to be walking. You can bike, all right? Less impact on your joints. I bike a lot, all right? So biking, great exercise, plenty of sleep, which I didn't get last night, plenty of hydration, a little sunshine, and the right vitamins. That's why we developed the Fortifeye Vitamin Company, to give you the right vitamins. Remember, our supplements are totally transparent. We tell you exactly what's in them. An example, our organic blue-green superfood. We tell you to the nearest microgram of everything that's in it. We don't have a proprietary blend trying to hide things from you. So you got to be very careful when they tell you it's got 7,000 milligrams and it's got 500 different nutrients in it, but they don't tell you what's in it. You got to be very careful. Why don't they tell you what's in it? So once again, all about transparency at Fortifeye Vitamins. Check it out, fortifeye.com, Fortifeye, fortifeye.com. All right, the phone lines are open, 1-877-969-8600, 1-877-969-8600. I see a lot of you are chiming in and asking questions via social media, maybe a little bit shy and you don't want to be heard over the radio waves, but give us a call. That's Dr. Richard Hall and myself, Dr. Michael Lange, 1-877-969-8600. We're going to talk a little bit about protein today and something called the PDCASS. PDCASS is the protein digestibility correctable amino acid score. That's a lot, right? So your PDCASS is a way that scientists judge how good the protein is. So milk has a PDCASS of 1. 1 is perfect, all right? Whey protein, a PDCASS of 1. Eggs, a PDCASS of 1. Casein protein, a PDCASS of 1. Even soy has a PDCASS of 1. I don't love soy because most of it's genetically modified. It's a phytoestrogen. A lot of people are allergic to it. But I do love eggs, casein, and whey protein. Whey protein is my favorite. It is the most bioavailable protein on the planet. Now, wheat has a PDCASS of 0.25, rice 0.50, peas 0.597, nuts 0.50. So you can see the PDCASS of you people that are just vegans, always being a vegan and not touching any animal protein, is not very high. And that's one reason a lot of you aren't building the muscle that you want. However, is there hope? Absolutely. Dr. Hall and I have been working on a new vegan protein. That's one reason I didn't go to bed till 4 o'clock this morning. We were doing solubility tests. We were doing dissolution tests, taste tests with some new vegan proteins that when you combine a fermented pea protein and a fermented rice protein or barley protein, you get a PDCASS of 1. Once again, just like whey. The amino acid profile, the branched chain amino acids, essential amino acids are very close to that of whey. And certain amino acids like glutamine are actually higher than whey. So we're working on it. The problem is we've been working on it for a few years now, and it's got to taste good. It can't be chalky and dusty and make you cough like a lot of these vegan proteins. And so the fermentation process, we're using a mushroom mycelia that helps ferment this down to taste good and not have that dusty, grainy taste. And we're going to flavor it so it's delicious. Now, will it be available this year? We hope it will be before the end of the year. We might call it Vegan Super Protein. I'm not sure what we will call it, but we got to go to the next call. But before we take the next call, Tracy's waiting patiently. Doc Hall, just let them know we've been testing these different vegan proteins for some time right now, and the majority of them, we just don't pass the Fortifeye test, do they?
Absolutely not. In fact, it's a joke around our little lab there and in the office when I think the staff love to watch me test sample our protein drinks because I have the test sample in one hand, and then I have something in a glass in the other hand to wash it down. And because all the ones, well, I won't say all, but the majority of the ones that we sampled seem to stick in my throat. You know, it has that grainy, dusty feeling. It wants to make me cough, you know, and stuff. So that's not enjoyable. So you and I have been working on this for quite some time, and I think we're getting to that sweet spot. So all of you folks out there looking for a good vegan protein, it's coming. It's coming.
It is coming. That's right. All right, we're going to the phones. Let's go see. I think it's Tracy in upstate New York. Tracy, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Dr. Lange. Good morning, Dr. Hall. My question to you, Dr. Lange, is I have had 2 procedures in each eye of the SLT, and it doesn't seem, to me, I don't know how many times you can have an SLT, but it doesn't seem like the pressure is going down at all. I don't know how many times you can repeat the SLT, or is there another procedure that can be done, or would it be done by medication? So I was just wondering if...
Yeah, SLT can be done, you know, multiple times. And so they usually do half the eye, then they can do the other half, and then they can come back and do it again. That stands for selective laser trabeculoplasty, and that's when they're zapping the trabecular meshwork with a laser, and it influences better flow of the aqueous, bringing the pressure down. And it's oftentimes it works quite well, but it doesn't work quite well in everybody. So there's a lot of other things you can do. Obviously, if your pressure's to a point where it's elevated, you know, above 22, and even above, you know, 18, if you have a large optic nerve, it all depends on each individual. Okay. So when we look at an optic nerve and it's very healthy, you know, a 22, a 23, even a 25 pressure, if you have thick corneas, might not be that big a deal. But by the same token, if you have very thin corneas, the nerve fiber layer is thin, and your pressure's 17, 16, you might have to lower it even more. And so that's up to the optometrist or the ophthalmologist that's treating your glaucoma. Now, let me ask you this, Tracy, are you on any drops right now for glaucoma?
No. He said this SLT eliminates the drops. Now, I had the right eye done probably 4 weeks ago, and I just had the left eye done on Wednesday. With the right eye, it's still at 26, and before the SLT, my left eye was at 30.
So it's still elevated, and you know the doctor's going to give it time and then check the pressure a few times, and then if it's still elevated, he might recommend doing it again. But you know, it's simple. The drops work. You know, I like prostaglandin analogs, things like latanoprost, because it's generic. It's very inexpensive. For you ladies, that grows your eyelashes too. So that's a good side effect for some of you. But it's very safe. A lot of glaucoma medications can make you tired, okay? And so latanoprost is very, very safe. And you put 1 drop in your eye at bedtime. And there's many other types of prostaglandin analogs. I mean, Lumigan's another good one. Travatan's another good one. Vyzulta's a good one. So there's a variety of drops. And I'm not telling you how to tell your doctor how to practice. But, you know, if that procedure didn't work, just ask your doctor, hey, can I try some of the topical drops, okay? Also, some things you can do naturally for anybody that's suspicious for glaucoma is more cardiovascular exercise. 20 minutes getting your heart rate over 100 can actually lower intraocular pressure, sometimes as much as 30%. Taking a good omega-3 fish oil in the triglyceride form or reesterified triglyceride form, that's like the Fortifeye Super Omega, 2 a day, can also lower intraocular pressure and have neuroprotective properties, helping protect against visual field loss, okay? There is a combination of nutrients out there called myrtagonol. Myrtagonol is where they take pine bark extract and bilberry in a certain specific ratio, and we've got lots of patients on it where we've gotten a 30% reduction in pressure with that. So cardiovascular exercise, omega-3, and myrtagonol could be, you know, very beneficial. You could start that very easily because there's no negative side effects to see if it helped the pressure. But then your doctor might say, well, it just took longer for the SLT procedure to work. So you might want to wait until you have your pressure checked first. And then if it's still not coming down, you can certainly do those things, or you can start those right now. I mean, there's nothing wrong with starting cardiovascular exercise and adding a few good supplements. And we're going to talk in a few minutes about, well, we might as well right now, Tracy. This is a good lead in. There's also something that you won't see much in the literature yet. We're going to be the first to use it in the United States, called Numintix. Numintix is a spearmint extract. It's a phenolic compound that's been clinically studied to help support memory, working memory, to protect the neurons, to actually promote neural growth. And some of the studies, I don't know if I'm supposed to even mention this yet, but have shown that it protects the retinal ganglion cells. And these are the first cells that people lose in glaucoma, even before the nerve fiber layer. And so the animal studies were pretty amazing, showing how it can protect these ganglion cells. So it's called Numintix. It's made by a company called Kimin. We're going to have it available combined with the myrtagonol I just talked about. We're going to have the myrtagonol and Numintix in a new formula made by Fortifeye called Fortifeye Eye Pressure and Neurocognitive Support. And that's going to be about a month from now. And that's something that we'll be adding to all of our glaucoma patients, our glaucoma suspects, or anybody that just wants to promote wellness in their brain and their eye. It's going to be beneficial. So keep that in the back of your mind as well, okay? And there's also a variety of other procedures that can be done. But remember, SLT is a relatively minimally invasive procedure, the laser. So I would recommend, if the laser didn't work, then going to the drops would be the next option before you go into any major surgical procedures for this, okay?
Okay.
All right, and keep us posted, all right?
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Lange.
All right, take care. You're listening to Ask the Doctors, Dr. Richard Hall, and myself, Dr. Michael Lange, 877-969-8600. That's 877-969-8600. So we're real excited about this new product that we've worked on for quite some time. where we're combining the Numentics and the Myrtaginol into one little capsule, basically a vegan capsule. And we've been using Myrtaginol for many years now in the clinic. And now when we can add something that may actually have some neuroprotective properties on top of the lowering possibilities in a natural way, it's going to be amazing. Now, remember, this does not replace glaucoma treatment. This is not a treatment. This is nutritional support. And, you know, at our office at the Lange Eye Institute, my typical patient is probably 80, 81 years of age. That's the average age patient we see. And, you know, I don't know if it's like a virus and it's spreading very quickly, if it's just very vogue to have muscle wasting as we mature. But as we get older, and, you know, I see it a lot, and I have a very active group of patients in the villages. Let me tell you, 80s like 50 everywhere else. So everybody's exercising. I like to think they're eating right, but they're out and about getting some sunshine. But still, we see this muscle wasting called sarcopenia. And sarcopenia has become very vogue. Like I said, it's like an epidemic. And maybe it's because we're living longer. But we see muscle wasting. People are getting weaker and skinnier. But quite frankly, one of the reasons is their diet, all right? Because a lot of you are exercising quite a bit. But a lot of you are on a 100% vegan diet, or God forbid, you're on the ketosis, the ketogenic diet all the time. And those are two diets I don't love. Now, the vegan diet, if you just added something to it that had these complete proteins, and once again, the new protein powder was going to be great for you guys and gals, but if you had a little bit of dairy or a little egg or a little fish or something like that, that would be beneficial, a little whey protein. And all of you on the ketogenic diet, you got to eat some carbs sometimes to replenish muscle glycogen. It's a great way to lose weight, or if you're fat, you can lose weight, but it's not a great way to build muscle. You become very defined, but you're not building, so you're getting skinnier and skinnier. And so Dr. Hall is, like I said, an icon in the sports nutrition industry, and he's also an expert. He's been researching sarcopenia for many years, and I'm going to let him chime in. I mean, Dr. Hall, is this an epidemic, sarcopenia? And what can we do about it?
Well, you know, I kind of think that it is. I mean, it's becoming more and more apparent, and I think what it is people are becoming more aware of it, and they're not taking it just sitting down, so to speak. For so many years, doctors just said, well, you got to learn to live with it. Not much you can do about it, and so, you know, that's all that can be said. Well, I'm here, and Dr. Lange is here to tell you that there is something that can be done. There's no two ways about it. I mean, as you listeners know, I am passionate about finding a path to help us with sarcopenia and neuropathy. Dr. Lange and I went back into the lab and into our research mode to find the proper mix of ingredients, to find those ingredients. And if there are ingredients, if there is a secret formula out there that we can develop, you know, to help these areas. And you know what? We found some very, very interesting things. The result really is our new formula, Fit Pro. It's amazing. All of the ingredients are vital, of course, but I want to take a second here just to point out a few. And that would be creatine, collagen, whey protein, and the one I'm excited about the most, and Dr. Lange is too, because we've been using this now for about a year, he and I both, is HMB. Okay? All of those are in our new formula. A recent study in the Journal of Nutrition, Health and Aging found HMB supplementation preserves muscle strength and function in older adults. And age-related with age-related muscle loss, and it increases lean body mass. I mean, folks, that's what we want. I mean, sarcopenia kind of sneaks up on you, but it's fast-moving once it gets going. And you know, you notice, oh, gee, you know, it looks like I'm wearing somebody else's clothes because I've lost the size muscle is what you've lost in your legs and in your behind. Right? So your clothes don't fit so right. Oh, well, that's all right. All of a sudden you notice that it takes you a little bit more time. It's more of a struggle to get up out of a chair or off the sofa in the living room, or when you're dining out, it takes you a little bit longer to get away from that table. Well, what is that? That's part of muscle wasting, sarcopenia. Then what happens after that? Okay, we start losing balance. All right, our walk has changed a little. We're walking a little bit slower, a little bit more defined, or maybe a little bit wobbly. Why is that? Because we've lost muscle strength, okay, in our legs and in our lower extremities. And that's just not acceptable for Dr. Lange. It's just not. And it doesn't have to be that way. There are always things you can do. And I will say we stumbled on this formula, excuse me, because it's been about a 2-year struggle back and forth in the lab, because he and I are very active with this. We pick out ingredients, we test them, they don't work, they go on the back shelf. And so we came up with FitPro, and it's awesome. He and I both have been using it now. We kind of test everything out on ourselves. We've both been using it for almost a year now, and I can see and feel results, and he can too. And so that's going to be out pretty soon, right, Dr. Lange?
Absolutely. FitPro, we're hoping it's going to be available for the Mr. Olympia. We're working on it, really working on it. We're having some difficulty just getting, remember, we're the first in the United States to use a new form of creatine, a micronized creatine made by the Germans called Creatinine Vitalis. And it was coming over on the ship, not the plane. So it took a while to get over here. But the Creatinine Vitalis is just putting us a little bit behind, but it looks like we'll be able to have some available for the Mr. Olympia. And that Creatinine Vitalis will be the first. It's also a form of creatine developed to help with sarcopenia as well. But yes, I'm hoping we have it available for the Mr. Olympia contest, which is coming up in about 3 weeks, right?
Right. We'll be over, and Mike will mention that at the same time. We're going to be with our booth over at the Mr. Olympia Orange County Convention Center in Orlando. And as you may know, the Mr. Olympia is the contest that Arnold Schwarzenegger won 7 times in a row. And of course, he'll be there at the show. But it's the biggest show in fitness and bodybuilding in the world. I mean, this is the premier show, and we're one of the sponsors. We'll be there with a booth. And so we invite everybody to come by. Next week, I'll give you the booth number, and you can come by and see us. Come by and say hi to us if you're over that way.
All right, we're going to open up the phone lines. Give us a call, 1-877-969-8600. That's 1-877-969-8600. I see somebody chiming in from Tulsa, Oklahoma, saying I'm it's hard for me to see that far. Busy executive. I'm a computer programmer on the computer. Looks like 18 hours a day. Well, it says 18 hours a day. And you talked about a supplement that helped people that are on their computer for prolonged periods of time. And your mother, it helped her memory. I think that's what it say. I'm reading this text from way across the room. So Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right. Yes, focus and brain. It's called Fortifeye Focus and Brain. It's also called Fortifeye Gamer Extreme. So it's the same thing. We just have a different label for a younger crowd versus an older crowd. So Fortifeye Focus and Brain is our original Fortifeye Focus that we still sell globally. But Focus and Brain, we've added something called citicoline, a patented trademark form of citicoline called cognizine. Cognizine is backed by some amazing clinical studies. So once again, we've taken lutein, zeaxanthin, astaxanthin, and cognizine and put it in a gel cap with an olive oil as the delivery system. And all of the clinical studies show that it enhances brain functioning ability. So the astaxanthin, the lutein, and zeaxanthin all not only cross the blood-retinal barrier, are great for the eye, but cross the blood-brain barrier and help control oxidation and inflammation in the brain. This supplement definitely improves accommodation and focusing and reduces eye strain. I'm over 60 now, just barely, and I don't need reading glasses. I've been on it for 12 years, and I take 2 a day of Fortifeye Focus, and that's why I don't need reading glasses. It does help the accommodative ability in the eye. It also increases macular pigment density. That means it helps to filter out the harmful blue light from the digital world. If you're on a computer 18 hours a day, it's going to help protect you from blue light damage to your retina. But the citicoline that's in it is energy to the brain. It helps reduce brain fog. It helps short-term memory. It helps with cognitive functioning ability and concentration. And there's some studies out there that show it may be beneficial for neurodegeneration as well. And that's why I think my mother has done very well on it. Like I said, my mom's memory has improved dramatically. She's 96 years old and her memory is coming back. The only thing I did differently is I added Fortifeye Focus and Brain to her regimen of supplements about nine months ago now. And she's actually reading books again, not staying in bed as much, has more energy, but I think it's really helped her brain. So it's called Fortifeye Focus and Brain. Check it out at fortifeye.com, Fortifeye, fortifeye.com. I mean, I've got my 17-year-old daughter. She's been on it since she was like 10. The Fortifeye Focus, not the Focus and Brain, because that just came out. But Logan, who's in optometry school, he's taking Focus and Brain because it's probably helping with his studies as well. So we've literally got thousands of people taking it because it works. Check it out, Fortifeye Focus and Brain. We're going back to the phones. Let's go to Mark in St. Pete. Good morning, Mark. Thanks for holding.
Yes, good morning. I had a question regarding, I just had my annual eye exam, and looking at my prescription from a year ago and then from this year. The reason I'm calling about it, the doctor said my vision didn't change, but I'm looking, I'll just tell you, my old prescription from last year, the paper's a little bit different. It's a different doctor. It says FPH, so I get spherical. And last year's, the top one says OD plus 1.25, OS 0.1. This year's, it says, it doesn't say OD, it says distance in that same column, and it says R plus 150, L plus 150. And then it says last year, cylinder, I wear progressive, which you'll probably know if I'm going to be telling my prescription. Cylinder, OD minus 0.5, right? Or OD minus 0.5, this one says distance, right? It just says SPH, I don't know what that is. And then it says, last year's CYL said on OS minus 0.25. And this year it just says distance under cylinder minus 0.5. And then in the axis, it says axis. Last year's OD was 89. There's nothing in that column this year on the new doctor's prescription. And last year's under axis for OS, it says 103. This year it says under distance cylinder 105. And then last year on OD-OS, it says add 2.25, OS 2.25. This year, it just says near, right, left, addition, plus 2.5. That sounds different to me, but I don't know how to read these numbers. You said I don't need new glasses, so I'm not looking to buy new glasses. Right. But can you help me out here?
Sure. Yeah, that's a very small change. So the add power was a 2.25 last year, and it's a 250 this year. That's a quarter of a diopter step. Your astigmatic axis went from 105 to 103 in the left eye. That's a 2-degree shift on only a quarter diopter of astigmatism. So yeah, that's a negligible change. That amount of change you wouldn't even notice. So I would tend to agree you don't need to change them. Remember, cylinder means you have a little bit of astigmatism. And then the spherical power is the main power. And so astigmatism means your eye is shaped more like a football than a basketball, causing the light to focus in 2 places in the back of the eye instead of 1. If we search enough, we're going to find some astigmatism in just about everybody's eye. Nobody has a perfectly round, well, I should say most people don't have a perfectly round eye. So, you're farsighted. That means you had pretty doggone good distance vision until probably 40, 45 years of age. Then your near vision started getting bad quickly, and then your distance vision started to get a little worse too. So, the glasses just reduce, eye strain, help you see clearly in the distance up close. And if you're in a progressive lens, everywhere in between. Now with progressive lenses, think of progressive lens kind of like a car, okay? You got good, better, best, and Lamborghinis, right? And so the same thing with progressive lenses. So a lot of times you get what you pay for. You can go to some of these, warehouse clubs, and it's $129 for a pair of progressive lenses. Chances are that's going to have a very narrow quarter. So you always want to get, a better progressive lens that has a wider channel, better visual performance. I recommend an anti-glare coating on your lenses. If you really want to go all out, have the blue filtering lens so it protects you from the blue light that comes from the digital world that we live in now. But yeah, it's a pretty small change.
Cool. Yeah, and I actually do that with my eyes. I get the best, like whatever the best Verilux lens is, it's out that year.
Good.
Cortisol, ARC, I give you the whole. I get the best that they have because it's my eyes.
Excellent.
I always, like you just said, I get whatever the best is. You know, I think it's always Verilux that I get, and lenses and stuff.
Verilux is a very good lens. It's like a brand, kind of like Kleenex. So, you know, all the companies nowadays, it's kind of like cars, you know, almost all the cars are good these days, and you have different levels. Same thing with Verilux. They have different levels. So whether it's a Verilux or Shamir or Kodak or Zeiss or Rodenstock, you know, or even a no-name lens, if you go to some of these offices, they don't have a name, they call it their own brand. As long as it's a digital freeform, that's what you want to know, digital freeform lens, then they're all really good today. Technology's come a long way.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again for your help, and have a great day.
All right. Take care, Mark. All right, you listen to Ask the Doctors. I'm Dr. Michael Lange with Dr. Richard Hall. Remember, Dr. Richard Hall is at the Lange Eye Institute in the Villages, where I hail from as well. And he does free nutritional consultations. I'm going to give you the phone number for the Lange Eye Institute. You can call and set up an appointment to see the other host of this show, oftentimes Dr. Susan Somerton, who's also a nutrition guru. You can set up an appointment to see her, of course, myself, Dr. Lori Caputi, or a free nutritional consultation with Dr. Richard Hall. The phone number for the Lange Eye Institute, get a pen and paper, I'm going to give it to you twice, is 352-753-4014. That's 352-753-4014. All right, phone lines are open. Give us a call. Remember, consultation is free. This never replaces a medical evaluation or an eye examination. This show is for educational purposes only. Give us a call, 1-877-969-8600. That's 1-877-969-8600. Now, Dr. Hall, you help our patients abundantly. Where can you go to an eye care center, all right? And I'm seeing a patient that is a diabetic with glaucoma and macular degeneration, peripheral neuropathy, rheumatoid arthritis, and they're 200 pounds overweight, all right? Where they're seeing the endocrinologist, the primary care physician, they're seeing the rheumatologist, and everybody's loading them up on more drugs, right? Talking about surgical procedures, and nobody's taking the time to go over weight management. So they come to the Lange Eye Institute, they see me or Dr. Somerton or any of us, and we notice that they're a little bit overweight, and we counsel them briefly on being overweight, what to do, what to eat, how to lose that weight, you know, and then we come out, introduce them to you, Dr. Hall, and then you take the proverbial bull by the horns and help them. I mean, we've had people that are 500 pounds that are 250 pounds now. So this is something that isn't typically available through an eye care center, correct?
Absolutely. And people say that all the time. Go back to what you say, Dr. Lange, that, you know, God made a pretty good body. We just have to take care of it and nourish it and bring it along. And a lot of folks aren't doing that. And the beautiful thing about it is either you or one of the other two doctors, like you said, you know, they notice that, you know, some help is needed there. And they simply walk down the hall to my office and introduce me. We set up an appointment and you come in. Now, another thing I've started too, because a lot of folks, I realize, they work 9 to 5 and that's when I'm working, you know, so they can't get in sometimes, or they just come in on their lunch hour or something. What I invite everybody to do, and it's working out very well, when you come in, just to buy vitamins, okay, ask for me. I'm always floating around there, but I'm not with a patient. I'm close by. And ask me, you know, ask for me. I'll come out. I'll look at the vitamins you're taking. It'll take 2 or 3 minutes. I'll go over a couple of things with you, some do's and don'ts and like that. And it really helps. I mean, folks are making big mistakes sometimes how they take their vitamins. You know, they gobble them down in the morning with a glass of orange juice or a cup of coffee. Then they wonder why they're getting heartburn all through the morning. You know, and there's certain things you need to do, some things you don't need to do. And so it's really a unique type of setup, Dr. Lange. But, you know, you started all of this. You know, I mean, way back when, you've seen the goodness, so to speak, that nutrition
You need to clear because I've got you muted right now.
And then you learn it affects the entire body. That's the fuel, folks. That's what you have to remember. Food is fuel for the body, okay? And we have to feed that body the top fuel. Just like Dr. Lange, he has race cars. He's not going to put cheap gas and used oil in his race cars. It just doesn't work that way, okay? Same thing with your body. Let's give it the best. Let's give it the best fuel out there.
Amen. Talking about fuel, you know, we started off this show talking about the PDCASS. That is the protein digestibility corrected amino acid score. Try to say that 3 times really fast. Kind of like rubber baby buggy bumpers. I bet you can't say that either, right? So when Dr. Hall was talking, I was holding up a bag. It's a silver or chrome bag of our Fortifeye whey protein grass-fed isolate. So remember, whey protein has a PDCASS of 1. That's a perfect score, all right? It is very easily digestible, especially our grass-fed whey protein isolate. It's an isolate, so all of the stuff has been removed that's bad. The casein, the lactose, the fat, and it's pure whey protein. But all protein is not created equal. And I tell people, when you go into the local vitamin store and you're looking for a good protein, look for 3 things. Make sure it says grass-fed, because it's not grass-fed. That means it's fed probably genetically modified grains. And then the omega-6 content is very high versus omega-3. Remember, omega-3 is anti-inflammatory and omega-6 is pro-inflammatory. So if you do a grass-fed whey protein, the omega-3 content is high. So that helps with inflammation. Also, look to see where the cows come from. If they don't say where the cows come from, you may not want to buy it, all right? So ours come from the UK, and our super protein comes from New Zealand, all right? These areas are very meticulous at keeping the grass healthy that the cows graze on. And then the last thing you look at is make sure it says undenatured or non-denatured. That means they haven't used heat to heat the milk up and destroy the delicate amino acids and all the immunoglobulins, and they haven't used acid on top of it to actually remove the fat, which most isolates do. So look for grass-fed, non-denatured, and where the cows come from, or simply go to our grass-fed whey protein isolate bag. That's 60 servings for just about $60. You can't beat that for a non-denatured grass-fed whey protein isolate. Also, like Dr. Hall said, and he's written a lot of articles, you can see them on drmichaellange.com under our blog section, about reading labels. When you look at our ingredients on this bag is grass-fed whey protein isolate, non-GMO sunflower lecithin. And that's it, folks. When you go pick up the typical protein that you buy over the counter, first of all, it's not going to say grass-fed, non-denatured, and where the cows come from, number 1. And it's going to have 15 different chemicals in that product. Isn't that right, Dr. Hall?
Absolutely. I had a patient the other day, and she listens to the show.
You're muted right now. Do you want me to give you another water?
And she got it from.
No, I'm all right. I got here.
Okay.
This bag of protein, Dr. Lange, had 18 different.
Okay, I'm going to unmute you now.
And I'm here to tell you, most of them weren't very good for you. You know, artificial coloring, artificial flavoring, artificial sweeteners, all kinds of things that you just don't want. You know, you just don't want in your body. Folks, if you're going to use something like that and you think it's a plus for your body, make sure, read the label. Okay, if you have questions, you know what you can do. You can call me, and you know, I can tell you right over the phone. Yep, that's a good one, or no, I'd stay away from that. And so there are ways that you can find these things out. Don't just do it blindly. As Dr. Lange said, all proteins are not created equal, and they are not. Absolutely, I am so proud of that label that Dr. Lange's holding up on that bag because of the 2 ingredients only. You know, and we give that protein to our family, to our moms. You know, we certainly would advise it for you as well. And I see we're getting close on time here. So it seems like we just get started, get this engine cranked up, and it's time to shut it down. And so I'm gonna let Dr. Lange talk some more here, but I'm gonna tell you now, my closing thoughts here is, folks, it's time to get serious about your health. and about your life. Okay, don't put it off. All right, there's no reset button in life. All right, we'd like to think that. All right, but no matter what I do in life, I'm not going to be 21 again. All right, and that time just marches on, as they say. Okay, so today is that day. All right, as I said earlier, you know, folks put it off. Well, I'm going to wait till after my birthday or after the holidays, or, you know, I'm going on a cruise. Then I'm going to start my diet. Why not start it now? And then you don't come back from that cruise having, you know, gained 10 pounds of what you are right now, and lose a little bit of weight. Dr. Lange always says the best thing you can do for your health, get your body in line with the weight where you're supposed to be, your natural body weight. Okay, as I always say, if you're 50 pounds overweight, all right, you're putting as much, with 50 pounds, you're putting as much as 200 pounds of added pressure on your joints, hip, knee, ankle, and feet. Feet, it's even higher. It's 8 times. So that would be 400 pounds of pressure on your feet. No wonder your joints ache, your legs hurt, and your feet by the end of the day. You know, you got to get in that recliner and put those feet up, because, boy, those dogs are barking. You know, and so let's take care of ourselves, folks. And today's that day. All right, don't put it off. And so I'm going to tell you, like I do every week, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I'm going to see you right here next week. In the meantime, if you need me, you know my number. Give me a call. Stop in and see me. And try to, if you're going to come out to the Olympia, make sure you come by our booth and see us. We'd love to see our listeners. And, you know, we stand there and take a selfie with you and talk to you. And well, I'm sure we're going to have some samples, and always going to have some good deals at the show. So we'll see you. I'll see you next week right here on the show, and I'll switch it back to you, Dr. Lange.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. And like Dr. Hall said, today's the day to start. So get some more exercise. You know, with these e-bikes that are available, you have no excuse. Go buy an e-bike. All right. You know, you're not pedaling quite as much. Get the one that doesn't have the throttle. You still have to pedal, but it makes it enjoyable. Remember, you're getting out there and moving in the sunshine. Also, think about starting a whey protein. Remember, it has a PDCASS of 1, our Fortifeye grass-fed whey protein isolate, 60 serving bag for just a little over $60. Try to find something that is as natural as this, that's non-denatured, grass-fed, tells you where the cows come from, with none of the chemicals in it. Remember, make a smoothie with this. Take a pineapple, take some a banana and some coconut water, blend it all together, and have it as a meal replacement. Have it after you've worked out. And you can get this Fortifeye grass-fed whey isolate at fortifeye.com. Fortifeye, fortifeye.com. The phone number for Fortifeye Vitamins is 866-503-9746. That's 866-503-9746. I will not be at the Fortifeye Nutrition Center today. I repeat, I will not be at the Fortifeye Nutrition Center today. I'm going to go bike 70 miles with my lovely bride, Tammy. We got time for 15 seconds with Steve in Clearwater. Steve in Clearwater, you got to talk fast, my friend.
How do you handle the fact that when most people want to go on a diet, they have the biggest problem they have is that they have to eat with other people. They have to eat with the family. They have to eat with friends. They have to eat. And so if you're single and you live alone, you can control your diet.
Right.
But your diet it's very difficult for people to live with other people and be on a diet that's only for them. Maybe Dr. Hall can explain how to handle it.
It is very difficult, Steve, and that's why we have an obese population. It takes discipline and sacrifice. Discipline is the word in order to lose weight. Steve, thanks for that. We'll expand on that next week, but we're about out of time there. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to Dr. Hall and myself, listening to Ask the Doctor. Remember, check us out on the website at fortifeye.com, or my personal website will go to all my social media, drmichaellange.com. With that, I'm out of here. Have a great day. God bless you, and God bless America.